Hi everybody, this is the first of 3 short videos on Canva, a design tool we're going to be using in class. You can use more advanced tools like InDesign if you want to, but I like to use the simpler tools, so especially if we're doing something quick like for social media. And this will be a nice addition to add to the photography experiments that you've been using and some of the built-in things in Instagram. There are apps. Canva has an app for mobile and for the iPad. I like to use the one that's built into the browser just because it has more of the feel of a program, and often I'll do designs on the desktop and I just prefer to do that. So when you create your account, you can create a free account, and don't buy the pro account. You can, but it gets very expensive very quickly. And in your business place, you may want to do that. But for what we're doing in the class, you don't need to do that. Canva is still pretty powerful on its own in the free version. You just may find that there are a few things you would like to be able to do that you're not able to do, and then you might have to upgrade to pro. Um, don't forget, most of you know how to use PowerPoint, so some of your basic layout skills that you did in PowerPoint will apply here. And you'll see what I mean when we start talking about some of these things. So what you can do, the nice thing about Canva is you can click on templates, and there's all kinds of templates for different things that you may want to do. The really nice ones are it creates formatted posts for social media. So if you want to create an Instagram post, which is what we're going to do in this class, so you will be creating an Instagram post, and then it gives you all different kinds of templates to start from. Now, keep in mind the ones that are marked with the little pro, those cost something. They come with your pro account, and then the ones with the dollar, you have to purchase. If they don't have any, then that gives you you'll see the little free that you can use those to create your free layouts. Now, I'm going to go back to home, and every design that you create will be saved on Canva. It'll be saved in the cloud. And so to find those, here's your main dashboard. So we're going to go to all your designs. So I have one that I've been working with that we're going to open up. And so you can kind of play with different aspects of this. So I've created a couple of text boxes, and I have an image on this particular layout. Now there is a main menu that this is your menu bar here. Now right now I've created a little animated slide for Instagram. So it's going straight to the animated. But if I click on things in the design, so like my text, notice the menu changes. So it's a contextual menu that allows you to do different things. You've also got some elements over here. So I can click on elements to add different shapes and images. You can upload your own pictures if you want. You're somewhat limited in the free version as to how much you can upload. And then you have your text features that allow you to add different things to your image. So in this case, I've clicked on these different text boxes. I get all the different options here, and some of this should look fairly familiar to you from using Word or other software. So I can choose different kinds of fonts. I can change the font size. I can change the font color. I can change bold or italics. I can center or align the text. I can add bullets. I can change the vertical spacing. And then the 3 buttons gives me more menus. So I can add text effects. And then this position is fairly helpful too. That allows me to, on the page, move something to a particular part of the page. So I can go to middle, and that puts it directly in the middle of my particular page that I'm creating. Now, just like with most software, if there's anything that you do that you didn't mean to do, you can hit Command Z in Command Z in Apple, or Control Z in your Control Z on a PC. You can also right click on a box, or on a Mac it's control click, and you'll get a contextual menu of some of the things that you can do. So you can copy texts and that kind of thing. And so any item that you want to change, you just click on that box. This allows you to change the size of it. These are little handles. So I can also use this as a way to crop if I want to. Now notice when I move these around, notice how it gives me these little outlines that are guides. So see there, now I've centered it horizontally, and now I've centered it vertically, right? So I've done these different, so I can kind of play around with this so I don't have to just eyeball it. I can do different things on the layout. As I mentioned in PowerPoint, you sometimes want to layer things. So sometimes you want text over an image. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I wanted this over the image, but look what happens. Oh my gosh, it's disappearing behind there. If you think of this as like layers of a page, this is at the very back of the stack. So this image is on top of this. So what I need to do is flip those. So I need to bring this to the front. I can right click on this, and there's my bring forward or bring to the front. I'll bring it all the way to the front, and now it's put on top. The other thing that you can do is anything on the page, you can also adjust the transparency, which allows you to make it fade so that you can see a little bit more of the text on top if you're doing some stacking. Okay, so I'm going to move this. You can keep in mind when you're doing a text box, you are either inside the text box, just like on PowerPoint, or I can click outside of it and then I can move the whole box where I want it. Now I'm centering it. Now that's all perfectly centered. I can do the same here. So I can say I want it there, and it snaps to the grid, which helps me make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so that's all the basics. So you got transparency, you can add text. So if I want to add more text, and then I've created all those different things. Now keep in mind, if I have this, whenever it's doing calculations or measurements for centering, it's including the entire size of the box. So if you are hitting these extra things, you are adding space to the box that is going to be calculated in the size of the box for centering purposes. So if you want to just center the line appropriately, then you want to make sure that it's only that one line of text so that the box is fit appropriately. Now Canva does auto-save to the cloud. That means any changes that you make, it is automatically saving it to your account on Canva. So the other thing that we can do is when we're done with it, we can go to this download and we get different file types, okay? Now ping is the standard. Some of these other ones it won't let you do right out of the gate in the free one, but you can download ping. And remember, pings and JPEGs. JPEGs is for the photos. Pings are for graphics that have different levels of transparency. So we'll want to use the ping. And then GIFs are for animation. Now this is suggesting an MP4 video because I added a very simple animation to this text so that it fades in once the graphic loads. Okay, so you can add an animation, which I did here, to this graphic, and then I can do different. It gives it a little bit of movement if you want to use that. Now the other thing you've got here, the trash can allows you to delete this whole thing. You can also create or duplicate a page. You can add a page, so you can make multiple pages. So if you want to do an Instagram post with multiple pages, let's look at this one. This is an example of one the Washington Post does, which is very handy. And we're going to be doing this week to create a multi-page post to allow people to scroll through it as another way to tell story. Oops, I did that wrong. So that way you can see the pictures, they're all fit together, and we can see how they fit together. So there's a headline, a subhead, then you've got your caption. Make sure you're filling out your captions on your Instagram. Captions are really, really important for people to understand your stories. And then so here's this one again. I like this one because they connect the pictures. Look at how the picture is extended into this one. So it provides some continuity in the stories. And the way that you do that, if I go to this one, so what I did here is I created a second slide that's going to be the second slide in my story. And so what I did is I'm using this image, right? So I cut it at the halfway point, which it does for me. And then in the new image, I'm doing it halfway point, make sure it's perfectly centered. And then when it slides, it looks like it's all one image, but it's actually an illusion. And that's something that's very handy to create to get people to move through your story. As you found in our design reading, we fill in the gaps. We want to see the rest of it. So by doing this, it's going to provide some continuity to our stories. So experiment with this. I will have a separate video that focuses on the assignment itself, but this will be enough to get you started with the basics and playing around with it. So good luck.